Hey guys, it's Sarah here from Sarah's Soaps. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these embedded loofah soap loaves with melt and pour. And today we're going to be making this one I call Mambo Mango. So I'm cutting up my soap base into cubes just to help me with the melting process as you would with any other melt and pour project. And I color and fragrance my soap base when I want it at the desired consistency and temperature to avoid any flash points. When I'm slicing my loofah, I soak it in water, drain it. When it's nice and soft, I cut them into individual slices, about an inch to an inch, depending on how big you want. So I spray my mold with rubbing alcohol, and I put a little layer of melted soap base at the bottom, and I stick my loofah slices individually, spraying with rubbing alcohol. And I find that once they set up, they're really nice and stable, and it's easier to pour other layers or make designs with the loofah slices already in them instead of having to put them at the end. So I keep spraying each slice with rubbing alcohol and sticking them in. Hold them for a couple seconds, or you can put pencils or little chopsticks in between each layer to hold them at the desired separation. And you can see here all my loofah slices are stuck in place nice and firm. My bottom layer has fully hardened, and that really helps to stabilize this whole loaf. So once that's dry, I take my loaf here and I use my rubbing alcohol and I spray liberally. I spray in between each and every slice, up and down the sides, all over, because I really want to make sure that the other layers that I'm pouring adhere and I don't have any air pockets. So then I melt my next base, and you're going to keep doing this for as many layers or colors as you want, and I'm pouring it on top. Now I know you can see some chunks in here, and that's okay with me. I don't mind that. It's in my loaf. It really adds a rustic look for me. But I spray liberally the bottom layer with rubbing alcohol, and I pour my top layer on top, and I'm just going to use my spatula to get everything out of the bowl. You don't want to waste anything. And I'm going to spread my extra pieces here all to the side so they don't sit on top. And after each layer I pour, I do spray liberally again with rubbing alcohol to take away any air bubbles that are left on top. So again, I'm doing another layer. I'm taking my rubbing alcohol and I'm spraying and I'm pouring on top. And you want to make sure that there's a skin, or that the layer underneath has had time to harden before you pour your top layers. That way you're not getting mixed layers. Now if you wanted swirls, you could definitely let the layers cool in between so they're a little bit thicker, and that'll give you some nice swirls in between. So my top and final layer, I've colored it, scented it again, and I'm spraying it with rubbing alcohol. And for my top layer, I always do like to make sure that I do get every slice of loofah with some soap. I do like the loofah slices themselves to absorb some of the soap. That kind of gives them a nice shiny look, and it kind of colors them if your base is colored as well. So I'm just going to finish pouring all this and spraying rubbing alcohol on top. And I like to leave it, I don't put it in the fridge because that kind of sometimes lets the layers separate, which I don't want. So I'm going to leave it in the mold until it's cool to touch, and I'm going to take it out of the mold, and I'm going to show you guys the final cut. So here's some loaf that I saved so I can cut it with you guys. So I just take any knife. Now I don't want it serrated, I don't want to leave drag marks. And I just do one spray on each side of the knife with rubbing alcohol. I find that that really helps me cut smoother and doesn't leave any drag marks, doesn't leave many drag marks really. So here is what one of the slices look like, and I'm going to show you a little bit later how to kind of take away the look of the drag marks. So you can see my layers there and my loofah, it's nice and set inside. Now you can kind of see a little orange swirl in the middle. Now what I did is I let my layers harden on the outside, but I kept pouring in the middle where the middle did not fully harden, and that's what kind of gave me really subtle swirls, which I liked. So in between my cuts, I do wipe my rag down, and I spray my rag with rubbing alcohol to get any little soap pieces off that might create drag marks. And again, I spray it, and I'm just cutting right down to the bottom. And again, you can see with this one, I'm going to clean it up a little bit after. You can see what the slice looks like. Now my slices come out about at a whopping 5 ounces, 5 to 6. So what I like to do again is I like to leave them blowing in front of a fan, just because I do have an organic base that I'm using, to let them dry out a little bit. And I'll leave a link down below to the other video that I did reviewing this base that I use. It is an organic base, so it's not crystal clear. So if you guys have any drag marks, all you have to do is spray some rubbing alcohol on it and use your finger to rub it in, and this kind of brings back a little bit of the shine to your soap and reduces some of the drag marks. And these are the other loaves that I made for a custom order, and I hope this helps you guys out with making loofah embedded soaps. They're awesome, they feel great on the skin, they're great for exfoliating, and awesome for summertime skin. So thanks for watching. Bye guys.